Later on, when we're talking about budgeting, I'll address preschool and then we'll go into potential staff members within preschool. Any questions for me about sticking this?
Parents Square
Yes.
questions.
And I want to address the preschool drop-off.
Okay. Parents Square, can other members of the public sign up for it that aren't parents, or is it only parents? Just,
Right now, I have to look into that. Right now, it's parents, but we'll see. Again, there's a security issue, we want to make sure we look at that, but there is availability to use. It's a very, very powerful.
I think I saw 2 things go out today from that already. Right, one was PTO and one was.
Jason's running these over here, and yeah, there are a couple things we've actually been using, and we're looking at the formatting to try to make it look really professional. That's also, we are looking at the preschool dismissal procedures. We're looking at staggering preschool because of our parking lot issues right now. At that side of the building, at the end of the day, is a little congested, so we're looking at addressing that. It'll be a slower moving process, but we're looking at a 3-3-15 dismissal between the two groups, 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds. We're trying to address that concern. Any other questions? Yes.
Would the Parent Square communication tool be something where we could start sending out an email blast reminder of these meetings? Because we don't send out a reminder right now for that.
We use for a lot of different
I think
things.
that would probably be a helpful thing to get into people's boxes.
Any other questions?
Okay.
Okay.
Motion to approve items 6.1 to 6.3. All in favor? Aye. Abstentions? Opposed? Motion passes. Chris, do you want to take budget?
Yes, under budget and finance, we have 3 items, 7.1, 7.2, and 7.3, that require acceptance allowance for approval. For a motion.
So moved.
Okay, I'll start with 7.2. So with 7.2, it says in the motion to allow district staff members to enroll their children in the preschool program pending available seats for the 24-25 school year at a rate of $6,500 for those staff members. Basically, we have some open slots right now in our preschool. We have an availability of 60 spots, where currently we have, say, around 10 that are available. And that 10 is not a hard, fast number because we have to leave some available spots for special ed children. Term 3, and they call the school, we have to evaluate them, and we have to take those students. So we're still under the preschool expansion program, and with that, we are allowed to take staff members' children. Now, this will be a little caveat to that members of the community take precedent. So if we would have a staff member enroll in our program, and we had 7 kids come in September, the staff member's children would have to leave at that point. So we would get a collective, they would know up front that you can bring your child here, but once we as specialists and leave spaces available for them within that 15. So it's really a guessing game, because we could say, all right, we're gonna do 7 open spots, and then we might only get 4. But we took our best guess based on, prior knowledge. Any other questions?
Oh, yeah, roll call, sorry. My apologies.
Ms. Willard?
Yes.
Mr. Nelson?
Yes for 7-1 and 7-3. For 7-2, I don't know if I need to abstain, but I think I will just out of abundance of caution with that preschool.
Okay. Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Creatier?
Yes.
Mr. Hutchins?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
And Ms. Sample?
I will do the same as Mr. Nelson, and yes to 7-1 and 7-3, and abstain from 7-2.
Motion to approve 8.1 and 8.2. First is motion to amend the contract with Maggio Food Service for the upcoming 2024-2025 school year. And the second is motion to approve the agreement between Stanwell and Maggio's Trucking for temperature controlled delivery service.
Second.
I have 2 questions. For 8.1, the change in the the change in the motion now highlights a guaranteed loss of $7,000. Is there any explanation as to why that's changed?
It's wording that's required by the state. State
Okay.
did not carry the first motion that I submitted, and they need
I
us.
can't hear what's being said most of the time.
I'm not, what I said was the state is making us reword the motion. They did not like the way it was worded in the first place and rejected it, and now we had to reword it.
And then for 8.2, is that going to be an additional cost over the $148,000?
No, it's inclusive.
Okay.
Okay. We need a roll call here as well.
Okay? Ms. Willard?
Yes.
Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Creatier?
Yes.
Mr. Hutchins?
I'm going to abstain.
Okay, Mr. Miller?
Yes.
And Ms. Sanford?
Okay, Carol again. It's not an LD one. Motion to approve 9.1, to accept donation of violin and trumpet. And motion, 9.2, which is to accept 20 computer monitors.
So,
I actually had a question, not about 9.1 or 9.2, but just curriculum in general. I know the public has brought up questions about the science scores in the past, just wondering what the district is currently, what the current plan is to look at those science scores.
I think we haven't got the latest science scores yet. They'll be coming out, but regarding what is taking place this year, we've had our 5th through 8th grade science teachers meet on a regular basis. They've met during typical in-services, and we also have some planning days that they sit, they talk about the curriculum, they review the state assessments, looking at the scores and seeing in what ways not just the science scores that may be low, it's how are we doing so well in minor charts and math, and how are we making them better on a regular basis. And that's not just the scores and the actual subject areas. It's about, the social emotional development of children as well. We have a number of counselors that come into our school and help our children, in addition to all the activities that we try to create in the community. So there's a lot of things that are taking place. But thanks for asking the question.
Thanks.
Personnel policy, Carol? Oh, I'm sorry, I got carried away. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Carol again.
We have other negotiations and agreements, but for the personal policy 11.0, we have motion to approve the following policy items for the superintendent. Although we do have 11.1, motion to rescind approval of just the letter cross-country handbook as it was approved in our last, our July 16th meeting. And then motion to approve Casey Bratton for to be our cross-country time. And 11.3 is the approval of the substitute list. 11.4, approval of policies, looks like we are table few. And 11.5, motion to approve these policies. P0164.6, regular public board meeting during declared emergency has been abolished. And P7231, fixed phone vendor is abolished. Okay. Any questions?
Questions about 11.3, just in regards to comments the public made in the beginning, and since we have a legal representative here, I will just ask, I'm assuming as substitutes, and I'm assuming Charlie's related to you?
Yes, he
right?
is. He's my son. He's a student.
But as a
He's a college student.
Oh, he's a student.
Yes.
Okay. All right. But he would be fine because per diem, the policy lets you do it as a per diem substitute.
Yes, and
Okay.
also because he is a college student.
Okay. Just checking. And then I do notice we have one substitute that is running for school board, and just wondering how that impacts him, and assuming that that doesn't impact the policy because they are not a current board member. And, okay.
I just have a question regarding the number. So the list isn't terribly long. I'm just wondering, in terms of substitutes, do we still have a critical shortage of substitutes, or?
We were just talking about that today, potentially advertising to get more substitutes. some days we can't get any subs. Luckily for us, it was only at the tail end of the year where we had a few days where we were scrambling. Luckily we have a tremendous staff to jump in on the preps, cover classes and so forth. And that happens. So we're going to be advertising to try to get that over.
Any other questions? Okay. All in favor? Oh, Debbie, roll call.
Yeah.
Apologies.
Ms. Willard?
I'm abstending from 11.3.
Mr. Nelson?
Yes, I approve.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Gutierrez? Yes. Mr. Hutchins?
Abstain from 11.1, approve the others.
Okay. Ms. Miller?
Yes, and I'll abstain from 11.4.
I'm sorry.
11.4.
And, Ms. Sanford?
Any new business? Okay, any new business? Okay, second public recognition, if anyone would like to come up?
Joan McGee. Every time I come here, I say, you have to stop misrepresenting things. At some point, you have to stop misrepresenting things. Let me read you from the minutes on June 11, 2024. Josh Thompson was appointed as a custodial person for the summer at $16 an hour. So what Chris Thompson just said, that none of them were paid, is not true. And in the past, I don't have the paperwork in front of me, but Abigail Thompson, same thing. She was appointed for an employment position at a salary. He is the most ethically challenged member of this group. Also for your lawyer, when I talked to John Capuano and I specifically asked him, give me the opinions on the people who have been hired that are related to board members. And he said there was one opinion recently. That's what you said. So I'm going back to 2018, looking at, for example, Chris Thompson's wife, who was appointed in, I think, and I don't have the exact dates, the first time she was a substitute teacher here, then she was appointed as a leave replacement. That is not a promotion. That is a new job description. Then she was appointed as a teacher, full-time teacher. That is not a promotion. That is a new job description. So this is not correct. I want your lawyer to look at that list I gave you. In the meantime, all of you with ethical problems are attending executive sessions. Sure, you abstain now and then, but you attend executive sessions. Kim Willard is approving the principal's contract when she's on the board. She abstains from her kids, but she approves the contract. Now, the superintendent and the principal oversee all of these people. So you have no business either attending executive sessions or voting or being there, period. It's an ethical lapse, and you should take care of it, all of you. In addition, when you talk about the asterisks being private information, I just requested from Heidi Guerra the curriculum status report, which was approved in, I think it was April. She gave it to me right away. This is public information. You are not correct, Kim. The information on this list, when it says it's attached almost entirely, except for personnel issues, it is public information. So you are not correct. And you should all be reading the policies. You should all be following the policies. You are not treating this as a professional organization with a $10 million budget, which is what it is. All of you.
I don't believe I said it's private. I said it's something that we don't share, we don't attach to the agenda.
Why not?
Because that's why I come.
23-24. And it says that in 8th grade in this school, there were 27 students. I mentioned this in the past. According to the yearbook, and according to Mr. Capuano, there were 36 8th grade students. But in either case, if you divide that by 3, you divide 27 by 3, you got 9 students in each class. You divide 36 by 3, you have 12 students in each class. That leads to my issue of how many teachers are needed for grades 5 to 8. And I think last time I may have said that there were 6 teachers in 8th grade, and that is not correct. There were 6 teachers of certain subjects shared by grades 6 and 7. Now, the New Jersey state statute, I did call and spoke to my city named Sierra today, and she said Mr. Juan Torres, who's the acting superintendent, is going to get back to me next week. So this is why this is a work in progress. But the New Jersey state statute, when discussing certification, is quite confusing because they have elementary grades as kindergarten through 6th grade, but then they also define middle school as grade 5th through 8th grade. So I'm not quite sure whether grades 5 and 6 are elementary or middle, and they have different requirements. So how do we decide whether grades 5 and 6 are elementary or middle? If they're middle school, I would think they would need teachers classified in certain subjects. So when I called the New Jersey Department of Education this week, New Jersey or the county, anyway, it's the one that has Director Juan Torres. She said that next week they'll get to me and clarify this more. But teachers can be certified in more than one subject. So, for example, if you have a teacher who's certified in science, they can also go through the steps and get certified in math. So you don't really have to have a separate teacher always for science and another teacher for math. So I'm still working on this. I did find the statutes about certification for special subjects, and it's very interesting. And I also want to respond to Mr. Nelson's question last month about what I would recommend as to class sizes. And again, because of my ongoing research, I really can't recommend anything right this minute, except I do think the school policy is very logical, which is 20 to 25 students per class. I don't have any problem with that. So thank you very much. This is a work in progress.
Kathy Rainey, I have 2 kids that attend East Hill. Apologize if this is a little scattered, but I jotted some notes down between work meetings today. But as we approach a new school year, and I've had some time to digest some of the conversations about test scores, I would like to add a few thoughts. When we get these test scores, and there's all kinds of various websites that have varying stats, we really need to think about kind of the statistical significance of those test scores when they're reported. I'm not sure if you guys are given that information when those test scores are released and how it's reviewed. But really, for results to be considered kind of reliable and valid, they need to have a certain power to them. So just because you run a study or run a test and you get results doesn't mean it's powerful enough to have valid, reliable results. So how do you increase power? Well, you generally increase it by increasing the sample size. So East Amwell obviously is a very small school, and with that comes an obvious small sample size. So our results really can't be compared to the bigger districts with more kids. I'm not even sure they really can be compared to districts locally, depending on the size, depending on how many kids are in each grade and how much power to be statistically significant. So with smaller numbers, each kid's score has the power to more greatly skew the overall results. So the only way East Amwell can increase that power is increasing numbers. And how are we going to increase numbers? Make the community more affordable so families can move in and bring their kids and raise them and, their kids' kids. Have out-of-district kids enroll, so more choice kids coming in, or merge districts, ultimately. So blindly looking at statistics, especially in our small school compared to larger districts, really is not that useful. Maybe there's another kind of test that we can administer that is better suited for smaller districts. I don't know what kind of power we have to kind or different tests. Or if there's a different way to look at the data, to track the progress maybe for each individual child and how much progress that each child has made instead of lumping them all together. You know, I feel like East Amwell, the enrollment stays pretty stable from K through 8, so that might be a better way to kind of assess progress and overall, you know, status of our school. And in closing, overall, I'm just hoping people take the reports with a grain of salt and put on their critical thinking caps. I encourage all parents to get more involved with their kids' education and their outcomes and approach the school with specific concerns and, most importantly, helpful suggestions and offers for solutions. Thanks.
Thank you, Rebecca, and I just wanted to point out, you know, after listening to her, that in terms of how the test scores here don't necessarily compare to larger schools and stuff, there's also two extreme things about this school that's different from other schools, and one is ethical diversity, lack of it, not